Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dragon of Icespire Peak. Whoa! Already! Oh my gosh. I already have a mimic here. It is amazing. Welcome, everybody, to Dragon of Icespire Peak. Yes, indeed. Welcome. Welcome. We're questing chaos, and we have a beautiful young man right there. But before we start our game of Dragon of Icespire Peak, we have some announcements. We've got our friends at Nord Games. They get you all of that supplementary material to make your D&D games awesome. They got books, they got decks, they got cards, they got dice, they got all sorts of things. And if you go to nordgamesllc.com/3.html, you're going to go to their affiliate link. And that, or our affiliate link, our affiliate link, you're helping them, you're helping us. And if you use the coupon code chaotic20, you're going to get yourself 20% off your purchase. CHAOTIC 20. Speaking of chaotic, you can also use the coupon code chaotic at birdsofparadise.com. Birds of Paradise, they have custom dice based off of bird themes, as well as their very own home state of Arizona, made by our very own Andrea of the Burbs. Yeah, I really can't look at the screen because I just see Artie's face there, so I just look at the camera right over here. Yes, so that is Andrea of the Burbs, birdsofparadise.com. Use the coupon code chaotic, and you're going to get yourself 15% off. Our other friend of the show is D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond is an online tool set that really helps streamline the pen and paper aspect of the game, so that way you can get straight into the role playing. They have all your stats. They now have a virtual dice roller. You can create characters, you can create spells, you can create items, all of this for your characters, for your campaigns. Check them out, dndbeyond.com. Very, very helpful online tool set. Helps streamline the whole thing. Things that are also online is our Patreon. Yes, Quests in Chaos has their very own Patreon. Patreon.com/Quests and Chaos. Just giving a shout out to our new Patreon members for the past couple of months. Ben, Leslie B, L, SV, and Emily of Breaking Domingo. Yes.
Yeah.
Artie says thank you very much as well. And if you do wish to be named anything other than your initials, you can do that through the Patreon settings or letting us know. I'm pretty sure we can figure that way out for you. Patreon.com/Quests and Chaos. We got Guild of the 5 E's, and we also have our deck of inspiration, in which our community, you all, can help our players stay alive, because sometimes I don't know how to balance combat. So we just want to give a quick shout out for the current dip cards provided by I believe Sim Ogre NGC457 and Squeal the Bard. And your current cards right now are Boosted Quick Thinking. You can invoke disadvantage on attack against you or a creature you can see within 40 feet. Emergency Seal, a little marble ball you throw, and then a seal just blocks the doorway. So that way they can't go through. It has an AC of 18 and HP of 25 because it is distracting. Or if you want to imagine it the boring way, you can see it like a glass wall. I don't know. I like a seal that's just like, hey, no, you can't get past. No, here, no, yeah.
Catch this.
But yes, that is Emergency Seal. And then we have Forgotten Lore. You know the immunities, resistance, or vulnerabilities of a creature you can see. Restoring mana, you get a magical potion that gives you a temporary first level spell slot for only 10 minutes. And Critical Strike, make a regular strike into a critical strike. Those are all provided by our community, and you too can help out this next month, because the cards all go away at the end of the month. So yes. One thing I did forget to mention, we have been doing some giveaways, but unfortunately not tonight. But do check out Prosperity on Kickstarter. It seems to be not a collection card game in which you're trying to make your own tea blends. And they have been giving us little 1 ounce blends of tea that we have been giving away. But we are not doing it this time, but we will be giving them out elsewhere. For in our other shows, so keep an eye out for that. But type in !T in the chat. It'll take you to their Kickstarter, and you can see the board game that they are promoting. Yes, that is all of the announcements here that I doth see. So let's go to the bits. We got 1,000 bits from the Baroness to the players, and 500 bits to me. Thank you very much. I'm gonna need it because they're all gonna play their cards now. Yep. The Hefner gives 500 bits to the baby.
Baby!
And then the Baroness responds and saying, hey, here's another 500 bits for the baby. So only Artie can use those 2 inspirations. That's fine.
Well, we agreed that he's playing Inqua today.
Ah.
Really? Did we?
Totally. Also, there was one that Thomas missed. Hef did his usual 50-50 thing. So you also have another 500. So thank you, Hefner, for trying to get us killed. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fourth baby at liberties. I see. Wait, so is Artie on ID?
No.
What?
No.
Well, I mean, right here.
He wants mommy to be happy, so.
Aww.
I see. Well, I believe that is it for nonsense. Yes, nothing. My hair. I went on a ski trip, y'all. It's kind of helmet hair.
Well, you're just, again, we're missing Matt, so now you get to do the crazy hair.
Yeah.
Matt's, yes.
Yeah, there we go. Fluff it up and...
Yeah.
Duke Fleeg, 500 bits for Laura's baby handling skills.
Oh, thank you.
With the Z.
I mean,
yeah. So that
lots of practice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to you and 2 to me. Thank you all very, very much.
We deeply appreciate it.
Did we have any left over from last time or not?
We should have the 4 from last
Probably 4. I mean, y'all have been doing some role-playing stuff lately. And
lots of role-playing, not so much dice rolling.
Yeah. Cool. Any announcements from you 4?
Sure, I'll dive into this one. We have finished the first arc of the Redacted Reports. Day after tomorrow, our Interludes episode is going to go up, which is mechanically, our players are able to use a scene to restore sanity, work on skills, and basically we get to look at their home lives. And then the week after that, we'll be diving into Arc 2. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Laura is our guest of honor for this particular arc, and we are delighted to have her as Agent Quinn along with Arcel.
Yes.
Yes, we're borrowing someone from QCell for this particular expedition into the death trap that is Yuma, Arizona in June.
And you're about to go to Arizona.
Yeah, I am. But at least
luckily not in June. Yeah.
It's in April, so it's very slightly less death trap.
Yes.
But yeah, we had our 3rd recording session yesterday, and things are getting tense. Things are getting great. It should be.
And I discovered that in Arizona, you get like Amber Alert style alerts on your phone for dust storms. I didn't know that was a thing.
It's true. Quinn and Rowan found that out. Well, everyone found it out, but Quinn and Rowan were actually awake when it happened.
Wow.
So yeah, it's gonna be. We're doing a lot of reveals over the next couple of weeks, including a new logo that I'll be putting into the Discord probably this week. We'll see. If y'all want it, let me know. Let me know in the Discord. Because it's purty.
Purty. Yeah, so check out the Redacted Reports on wherever you get your fine podcasts. Speaking of Matt, as you can see, Matt is not here, but Matt is also on our show on Saturdays, Frost Maiden, which we are moving up from 1:30 p.m. up to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. With everything opening up, people's schedules are starting to evolve, and we would like to keep as many of our fine folks as possible. So we are moving that time up to 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you are a Frost Maiden watcher, so keep an eye out for that, and make sure you set your clocks to that. Put that back up 90 minutes. Yeah.
Frost Maiden time. Yeah.
It's Frost Maiden.
It's now perfect brunch entertainment.
It's true.
Yeah. Sip on your mimosa.
Have a nice eggs Benedict while watching Elsbeth die for the third time in a row.
Oh please, she's dropped 8 times now. Yeah. Fun time.
Argent.
It's bad when the cleric is the one who's consistently going unconscious.
Yeah.
Yes, but yes, that is Frost Maiden. But tonight is Dragon of Icespire Peak. And what happened last time? Well, last time our fine folks headed to a party hosted by one Khalid as well as the mayor of Leylon. They began to participate in some of the festivities. They watched a beautiful show provided by Alondra, the bronze dragonborn, said to be mainly housed in Waterdeep, but is now doing a tour of the Sword Coast. They asked her about her song choices that happened to mention Typhon, which our heroes here of the Argent Sword happened to have a bit of a run-in with one of his zealots. She said it came to her in a dream, and satisfied with the answer, the folks began to head back down, and there, waiting at the bottom of the tower that they visited Alondra in, was their host, Khalid, who has been very forthcoming about his admirations for a particular party member, Winley. And as they began to walk through the party, he extended a hand and asked for a dance. And at that same time, Isolde was pulled away by their ex-lover Soliana, and Tim and Inqua were pulled together, so that way Tim could maintain his promise of being a bodyguard for Winley in this evening's event, while DJ Darjan was offered quite a tantalizing offer to go with Alondra up to Neverwinter to be their opening act. And the party went bonkers. After that, Darjan queued up the band and started singing Barty Girl. Tim and Inqua lost Khalid and Winley in the crowd as he pulled her up to the tower, and in a very particular Disney fashion, they jumped off and began to float away due to a magical scarf that was wrapped around Khalid's shoulders. Yes, the party is a bit of a woo thing. I need to close my door a bit. It opened by itself. I was like, who is opening my door? But it opened by itself.
There's ghosts in your house, James.
Woo! Hello. Please be entertained by my stories. So they flew off. Meanwhile, Isolde had a bit of a how should I say this? A good old confrontation of words and catharsis and not reconciliation. What is it? Closure.
Yes, closure. Excellent word.
For the toxic relationship that Soliana still holds on to. Elves, humans, sometimes you need to have understanding there in terms of ages and this relationship did not have it. Gosh dang it, they brought Jollibee home, y'all, and
Oh.
that was about 10 minutes ago, and 10 minutes ago I was with y'all, so I'm gonna begin that at the break. Please sponsor us, Jollibee. So that is what happened there. Khalid took Winley off to the coast, and I need to close my door.
And
Vamp. We vamp.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh, what happened? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Everyone's gonna have to pour a
It
drink.
was a cliffhanger because we were on a
Cliff.
Yes, on a cliffside, you were staring out over the ocean, and Khalid began to remember the memories of his childhood that also happened to have one Winley, though not her name at the time. And when it was revealed that her parents had inadvertently killed his grandmother, she ran away. Meanwhile, Isolt made friends with one particular gentleman, Jack, out at the front gate, who absolutely found the party to be quite droll. But they shared a bit of a smoke, and then everyone eventually made their ways back to the sunset horizon. Tim and Inkwa also finding Winley as she was running back from into the northern side of Leylon. They all reconvened. Winley was distraught, and to make matters worse, knocking on the door is Khalid, who is asking to speak with Lady Winley, and Khalid, asking for a moment of their time, his guards not giving him that. Inkwa decided the move was to grab Khalid, shove him inside the room, and then stand guard on the outside. Which is... Oh, the music is still going. I'm going to actually just turn that music back on, but it made the recap a little intense.
They danced really hard.
Hard.
It went hard on the dance
There
floor.
was a severe lack of kebabs last episode.
Lack of kebab. But that is where we begin our story after that very scattershot recap. You four, Isolt, Winley, Tim, and Darjan, are within your room while Inkwa is on the outside. I lost the sheet that had our initiatives for the first three, so we're just gonna roll that and say that the first stuff never happened.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fair enough. Use a new dice.
But yeah, so I will say this first round of combat happens, but if everybody can roll initiative, and then I will plant
we're in initiative 2?
You're gonna hear the sounds of fighting in about 6 seconds.
No, yeah, give or take.
Not that we're counting or anything.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Oh, I should pull up Inkwa. Oh, no. What did I do? I need Inkwa's character sheet. Okay.
Inkwa, we need Inkwa.
Inkwa collections,
Inkwa,
my campaigns.
I'm gonna keep making up songs now for Inkwa.
And Inkwa, Sheridan Jabor. Yes. So, 15 to 20.
I have 17.
I have 22.
Oh, thank you. 25 to 20. Thank you. Tim. Okay. 20 to 15.
17.
17. And... Okay. Oof. So that is 10 to 20 to 15, 15 to 10.
11.
11. Oh, I need to roll 4. Khalid. Okay. What is Khalid? Ooh. Okay. 10 to 5.
7.
7. Then what is Inqua? What is Inqua's dexterity? 2. Okay. What is your dexterity score, Winley?
My score is 12.
12. Okay. Well, that's story appropriate. You are at the bottom.
Exactly.
Cool. And so, just going to do this first round with the first 3 that you are about to hear the combat going down. Starting off with Omar, who's going to take out. What does Omar have? 2 battle axes that just slot off. And he's going to take 2 swings at Inqua.
If Ingrid dies, this shit.
You're not allowed to kill a character when the player isn't here. It's a rule.
Oh, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
It's like so mad.
Maybe not in Ezra's games, but everyone else with a heart.
Oh, yeah, people with hearts. Okay, sure.
Oh, and then what if he had to come back and play Sheris?
Oh dear.
Oh no!
Share again.
Isolde will drown sheriffs. Just full stop. We're on the Sword Coast. She will muscle him down to the coast and drown him.
But yes, one of those do hit. For 11 damage.
Did I do my daily affirmation today?
Okay, yes.
Yes, you did. So
I
he
did.
does have his 8 temp hit points that go boof. And oh no, go 0. Go 0. No, not 80. 0. Are you gone? There we go. And 3 left over. Apply. Cool. And I did that super quick with D&D Beyond. Okay, after Omar does his 2 strikes, you hear one of the axes that just kind of puncture into the door frame, just, and the other one slashing across Inqua, who's like, ugh! And then Maya is going to attack with 2 smaller blades, more scimitar-like, and they whip out. 16. Both of those hit for 17 damage. You just hear Inqua just. Oh, Duke Fleeg is going to throw in 2 cards to y'all. 2 changes of fate and 2 critical strikes.
Actually, for that last hit, would we want to use the one that provides disadvantage on attack rolls? Did we
Yes.
What's Inqua's AC?
14.
That's worth disadvantage. You know,
I think it's worth it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's come on. Going back in time.
But it only applies to one of them.
Right.
To one of them.
Boosted quick thinking, yes.
yeah, I do. Was it Mara?
Maya?
Maya.
Yeah. So you use boosted quick thinking on. We'll assume that what's it called? Inqua's the one who plays the card since he's the one who has to see it.
That's fair.
So one of the attacks does go through. Ooh, one of the attacks go through. So Tim, pick odds or evens.
Evens.
Even. So the 4 damage stays, but the other one does not. So that's. Oh, Mac!
It's not an attack, it's a person, right? Is it disadvantage for the person? I don't know. You know.
No, because if it's anything like Warding Flare, which is what it's based on, it's opposing disadvantage on a attack. So if someone has multiple attacks, it only goes on one of them.
Okay.
All right, and the second roll is a natural 1.
Excellent.
Very good. So that takes off some of So one of the blades you hear, and then the other one just like kind of scrapes against the framing of the wall that you hear a little.
And does it
That's
swing
deep.
back and poke him because it was a natural one?
Go skittering down the hall.
What is? Okay. And it hits the side of the door frame and just like kind of catches and then and you hear a voice just like shit as one of them goes off to the side there. Next up is Inqua, and what was his instructions for me?
Okay.
Matt, we miss you.
I don't think he can do that because he's not near a bandit. Oh, you mean down the stairs? Is that what he was?
Or
He's gonna insist that he doesn't want to fight. He said maybe throw some guards over the second floor banister, which kind of conflicts with the not wanting to fight part. He wants to fire breath to prove his point, and then yell.
Kind of an attack.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, you can like maybe do this one at a time, but he wants to end with Winley and Khalid need private time.
Okay, so I'm assuming he's gonna try and persuade first, where it's like,
Yeah.
Well, I
You're
don't
not here to
know. He
fight.
just got hit.
we're not here to fight. Just Khalid and Winley need private time. Winley, roll a d20 to see how well he persuades,
Okay. Oh no.
which is a -1.
Well, my bait. What? Oh, it's a -1.
Yeah, for
An
Inqua, it's a
8.
-1.
Okay, 8.
An 8. Ugh. Just kind of like leaning against the doorway, just let them have their private time. And almost just kind of looks down again, the fabric kind of covering his eyes. Just narrows and begins to ready 2 more strikes with his battle axes. Cool. Now we introduce everybody. Can everybody see the map at the moment, by the way?
Oh, let's look at the.
I wasn't
Yes.
looking, so yes. Ah. Okay. Where is Khalid? Is he the
Khalid
person
is at the door.
Okay.
So the light portion there is the second floor, dark portion is the first floor.
And you pulled that together in the last like 20 minutes before we started. Well done.
Nice. All
When
right.
you learn about roll 20, shit can happen fast.
Well
Da.
done.
Cool. So top of the order is Tim.
How hard is it to get Khalid out of the way so I can open the door?
You're gonna have to push him probably.
I mean, I'll push him out of the way.
All right.
I
Make
want to
a
throw him out of the way, but okay, I'll push. That's...
push. Yeah, make a strength check.
Can I use athletics instead? It might not matter. Can I use athletics actually?
Sure.
I have to do math. 13.
13. While flustered, all of a sudden, as you start to rush forward, Khalid just like hunkers down. Is like, ah! You rolled a 14, and you try and push him out of the way, and he's just like, "What are you doing?"
Getting to my friend.
Well, He's a little exasperated by the sudden
They're killing him.
And you shouldn't have grabbed me.
I'm going to use action surge to try that again.
Okay.
Okay, this time it is a 23.
23.
I want to throw him.
Okay, so you rush forward and you left or right?
Whatever gets, I'm not thinking. Just away from the door.
Do you not know if your character's right or no, I'm kidding. You
Like,
push
he'll
him.
be over me. I will suplex him if I need to get him out of the way of the door.
Dang.
Wham!
You push Khalid out of the way, and he kind of like scatters across the floor. The door is open before you.
That was all my action-y stuff. I would want to pull. No, but can I move and get?
Opening a door is a free interaction. You get one.
Yeah,
of the...
but no, I wanted to pull Inqua in as well, and that wasted my action surge because it's jerk. It's like I'm not getting.
But wait, was Inqua like leaning back on the door?
If he's
Like,
leaning
would he
back-
fall
He
into
might
the
fall
door?
in.
Yeah.
If we yank the door, he falls in.
Let me know, because otherwise I want to get in front of him and stop the attacks on him.
Okay. I can't. I was going to be fancy and try and open the door, but I can't. Oh well. So you open the door and Inqua kind of just like tumbles back. He is prone at the moment. If you wish to
Can
drag him, how much movement do you have left?
Oh, I was like right up here, right?
So 1, 2, 3.
And then half back, so I could get him like off to the side over there, maybe.
So basically, he's within the threshold at the moment.
Wait, so if I pull him there, is there any chance I have enough to get in front of him?
It's either you get in front of him or you pull him in.
I'd rather get in front of him
Okay.
then.
He's lying on the floor in the doorway. All right.
Basically, yeah. So, anything else? Any bonus actions, Tim?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, that is your turn. Next up is Darjan.
So did we say that my temporary hit points stack on top of Winley's temporary hit
They
points?
do not.
No, temporary hit points don't stack.
But if they are gone, with Inqua's case, they can be re-upped.
Yeah, no. I have something that can give up to 3 people more hit points.
Mhm.
So I was just trying to figure out whether I could do that and make
Well,
if
is
it made
that-
sense.
Is that temporary hit points or is that increasing the max HP? Because there's something that can increase HP temporarily, right?
Yes,
Right.
but I think that what she's referencing is a specific
Correct.
glamour,
Mhm.
and that's temporary, not.
Yes. The mantle of inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am basically I'm going to do a cantrip on myself. It's called Blade Ward.
Okay.
Until the end of my next turn, I have resistance against bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, blah blah blah.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to try to jump out there and let's see. Should I charm him? Yes. So I'm going to see if I can charm them to get them to stop doing this.
Okay. Where do you step to?
I can. Let's see. I can get more than one teacher. More than one creature if I do
Okay.
it at a higher level. Okay, where do I step to? Let me 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna be over here.
Okay. So you watch as Darjan slaps himself and a bit of a shimmer goes over them. Is Blade Ward an action?
It's a cantrip.
But is it an action to cast it?
Yes.
And is the charm person also an action?
Let me check. Oh, okay. There it is. I thought one of them was not an action, but yes, that one's an action as well.
So it's either or.
Right. Biscuits. All right. Well, I think I think I better get slashing, and I will just try to do charm without the charm person spell.
How do you do so?
I'm going to get in front of them and let him know that it's like, you saw me up there. You saw that what I can sing and inspire, and I wouldn't let anything bad happen to your master. Please, please, let them talk.
Roll a persuasion check.
It jumped out just a second. God, I hate when it jumps out. Oh, good. I got a better roll. All right. So, persuasion. 24.
24.
Yes.
Noted. Okay. We'll see what happens. Speaking of, Omar's turn. You say that. Seeing ink on the ground, seeing the door open. He's going to walk 1. He's going to walk 2.
Oh, attack of opportunity.
You're going to take an attack?
Oh, they've attacked. I'm definitely not letting him just go by into the room after they've done that.
Okay. Roll an
Especially
attack.
if he doesn't say anything. Yeah.
And that would be... I have to jump between my sheet. Apologies. 25 to hit.
25 hits.
And damage isn't so much important as that his movement is 0 and he goes nowhere. However, the damage is 6.
6 damage. Okay. So you swipe with your sword, clipping Omar, who then looks back at you. And you, just from the little bit of eyes you can see almost like a vein just kind of like bulge just a bit.
That's fine. Just move him back down.
And is going to attack you with 2 strikes. Let's see. Does that help with... That's just melee damage. What happens when he rages?
What happens when he what?
Rages.
Rages!
He's a bard.
A barbarian?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Cool!
Uh-oh.
So,
No.
you watch as his veins kind of pulse and almost like spectral figures, very faint, just like appear behind him, and they all kind of look down on you, and they all seem to have a very similar Omnian-esque clothing, but their features of their face are really undistinct to you. But you see these specters kind of pop out. One of the attacks does hit you for, I need a 1d8.
Move him back down.
For 12 damage. And these specters begin to just kind of coalesce near you, Tim.
Well, it would have been wherever you hit him, which would have been when he was trying to leave your threatened space. So I think that's the right spot, actually.
But
You wouldn't
it's
have been
while
able
he's...
to.
Oh, while he's trying to leave my threatened space.
Yeah,
Right.
you wouldn't have been able to attack him here. It wouldn't be until he's
Yeah.
here moving up that you would have been able to attack him.
Okay,
Meanwhile,
and that's no roll to hit. I just take 12 damage.
yes.
All right.
Mm. Meanwhile, Maya on the other side runs over, grabs her other scimitar, and goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Will use their action to dash here, and use their action surge to strike Tim.
I can respect that.
And it will be 2 attacks. Oh wait, why am I saying that? It's not Maya's turn yet. My bad. I was just like, oh yeah, right after Maya is Omar. After Omar is Isolde.
All right. The situation has gotten out of hand very quickly. I'm gonna move up the one space, grab Inqua, and drag him back.
All right.
So is that my movement or is that my action? Because it should be like it'll have my movement,
Yeah.
but
I'll say it has. You kind of have to drag him in. He's
Right.
willingly going with you. So
yeah. So that was 5 to get there. So 10, 15, 20, 25. Basically drag him back here.
okay.
So that he's about here-ish. But was that my action?
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna look at Khalid
Mm-hmm.
and say to him, we want you to be able to talk to Winley. But if your men keep attacking our fellows, she is not going to hear you. Call them off now.
Persuasion check, please.
That is a
No, do an intimidation check.
Persuasion's better. Don't make me do intimidate. That's a 16.
16. Mm-hmm. We'll see what Khalid does.
And I'm hoping he leans in my favor because I was talking to him and trying to help him.
As it is Khalid's turn. Khalid hears this and tries to absorb the fact that Inqua is now bloody on the ground and his guards are currently attacking you as you have been attacking them. And he will step over here and see the back of Omar and just put a hand on his very high shoulder and be like, Omar, Maya, please. Just, I'm unharmed. Stand down. At which point, Omar kind of just like, almost like creaking neck, just like, and then takes a breath. The specters that were surrounding you, Tim, kind of just. Maya was about, or has picked up her sword, and ran over here and is about to strike DJ when Khalid walks out and is like, she catches her breath. Sheaths her scimitars.
All right. Why don't we try talking like civilized people?
Yes. And if you so much touch my master again, I will slit all of your throats.
Right back at you.
That is not a very civilized response.
Please, you take our master away from us, throw him in a door. And you expect us to act civilized.
Yes, I do.
Do not think because you are from Sword Coast. You are better than us.
I do not think that for a second. I think that your master asked for a moment of time and you refused to give it to him. You are behaving in an uncivilized manner. Calm down.
No. You ever touch him again, I will personally find a way to make sure that the blade enters your throat and out your spine.
You may.
And at which point Khalid is like, Maya, calm down, please. He turns and kicks the
emergency
bed.
seal on her mouth.
We would encase her entire head and suffocate her. And while that's very tempting,
Not if we're using the seal version of it. Then there's just a seal on her.
At which point Khalid just turns like, please, you all can calm down here. They are good people, Okay? They are doing their job. You took me into your room without any warning. Looks down at Inqua. They are doing their job.
Let's all take a breath and calm down. There you go.
Khalid breathes. Omar breathes. Maya still has a bit of her hackles raised, but she's not doing anything at the moment.
And I look over at Tim and DJ with a raised eyebrow, just like, you fuckers better breathe too. Because I'm not going to stop a fight from that side of things as well. I will smack both of you senseless.
Tim is going
I
to
see all that from Isolt's eyes. I see it all. And
I have
I
already
nod.
had a bad night. Do not test
No,
me.
I nod. I was doing my job. Persuasion.
I'll nod at DJ.
And Omar speaks. I was going to simply check on my master, but you, little hot spit, looking at Tim, struck me from behind. We are on tenuous ground here.
particularly after you kidnapped Winley.
At which point, Khalid's like, kidnap? What?
That is very much what it looks like to the rest of us. We were not privy to your conversation.
I see. That is where the misunderstanding is.
So you are also on tenuous ground with us.
Understood. Looks over at Omar and Maya. Omar definitely getting more onto the calmer side. He has to give Maya a bit of a stare. She turns around, kicks a banister. Very well. We will speak in your room, but we will stand by Khalid. Understood?
And if Khalid wishes to have an emotional conversation without witnesses,
That can be arranged, as long as it is not a surprise. Looks down at Inqua once more.
and I'll just like, then that can be arranged. We can discuss this. We are at the end of a long and exhausting night, but we are civilized people and can have a conversation as adults.
Khalid. Very well. Shall we all calmly re-enter the premises?
Yes. And I'll gesture. Come in. And have a seat. There is seating enough for all.
They begin to pour in.
I will say that during all of this, Winley has been sobbing in the corner, just kind of babbling to herself. I don't do anything but hurt people. I just hurt people. I just hurt people.
So
She was only slightly, she kind of received this in shock and was a bit paralyzed by it.
Well, you're in our room, right? Because there's the outer sitting room and then there's the bedroom, right?
The bed, or so like the way I described it is like there's like that lounge area. The bed is in this singular room on a raised area.
I thought it was in a completely different room. Sorry.
There is that conjoining room, which is like a larger lounge area that's mainly just for lounging. That is connected to what was Winnie's and Hannibal's room.
Yeah, what happened to them?
Yeah, I was under the impression that we were bringing them into the lounge area, not the bedroom area.
The lounge room is the conjoining portion.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
All right, I'll go over to Winley once I see that things have settled down a little bit at least. Go over to Winley and crouch next to her, just like gently touch her shoulder. Winley.
I can't see him.
Well, you heard the lady.
Tim.
stare at you, Tim. Come on, dude.
You are not alone. And it's time to stop running, little bird. What happened was not your fault, and you cannot carry that. And what happened was not his fault. You were children.
Kind of takes a deep breath and just silently nods and peeks up ever so slightly at Khalid.
He bows his head. Do you wish to speak alone, or?
And she just nods, and maybe like looks imploringly at Isolt, like, how do we get private time, essentially?
Mm-hmm. All right, and I'll look over at Maya and Omar. It sounds as if your master wishes to speak alone with the Lady Winley. There is a couple of areas that are private spaces. You may check them if you would like to make sure that there is no attack waiting. And then we will stay out here with you and leave the two of them to speak. Is this acceptable?
Maya, cold eyes. Which room?
I'll look around and be like, Winley, where would you be comfortable?
Here, because we're currently in like the bedroom, right?
We're in the bedroom area. All right, and then I'll okay. So we 5 will step into the sitting room over there, and I'll gesture at the door. And if you would like to check and verify that it is a safe space, take your time.
At which point, Omar continues to stand with Khalid, but Maya goes over to the conjoining room, checks it, does what seems to be a good 2 or 3 minutes, comes back, locks the door, goes over to the bathroom, checks it, 2 or 3 minutes, comes back, locks the door. Very well.
All right.
First, would Khalid be so kind as to leave his scarf with his companion so they don't leave out the window?
Oh, certainly. Pulls it off and passes it over to Omar, who's to his right. Would you all mind stepping out?
We need to carry Inqua. Is he out?
He's not out.
Oh no, he's still, honestly, he's still pretty solid.
Okay, but we need to get him, and let's move him and take him out.
At which point, Omar goes off to his side satchel, pulls out a little pot. Would you like this? Takes a sip himself.
Inqua?
Oh yeah.
Where's
Right,
Artie?
he's not here.
Artie fell asleep on the job.
Oh,
He did.
no, well, I'll take it into Inqua.
Mm-hmm. And roll a 2d4 plus 2.
2d4?
Yes, 2d4.
All right. 7.
7. All right. And you watch as some of the wounds that Maya and Omar had inflicted kind of begin to seal up as he ingests. Shall we all step outside?
And I will. I'm still crouched next to Winley and just give her a kiss on the temple and murmur, "You can do this. You are stronger than you think you are. I believe in you, and I will be in just the next room if you need something."
Thank you, Izzy.
Of course. Gently squeeze her shoulder, stand up, Still in just like a loose tunic and trousers, no weapons, bare feet, and just walk into the sitting room. Because I was getting ready to go to bed, damn it.
You all step off to the side room. Maya definitely being like the last one, like making sure everyone is just like, come on. Then closes the door behind after giving a very imploring look to Khalid, who's just like, as she steps in, closes the door. I do not know where to start, but
And Winley has gone over to like a vanity or whatever there is, try to grab a tissue, just clean herself up a little bit. I'm sorry. It's just, when you were telling me about what happened to your family, I just got so upset.
I do. Did I happen to know you before as someone named Lena?
She just looks down and kind of almost imperceptibly is nodding to her. She's making the hugest nods, but it probably is just like he can't quite tell because it's kind of small. And then she looks up. Did you ever make it through the jungles of Chult?
Only in books. Your hair has changed.
Yeah.
Your eyes changes.
Yep. I'm so sorry. I didn't know she had died. I thought they were able to save her, and I'm just sorry.
You know, that day, not much anymore, but plays often in my mind. Whether something I could have done, whether it was my fault, is very, you are very fascinating people, and I asked my father to allow you in. I thought you were wonderful people. But yes, again, I played over many times, especially when it first happened, and I struggle with why.
Money and riches, and I don't know. It just, that's all my parents knew.
And he stares kind of pensively off into like a side corner. His brow furrows a bit. I just I struggle with the fact that you could not tell me. I thought we were on a similar wavelength.
And she's just so distraught. She doesn't even know how to answer that. I think she actually kind of turns around a little bit.
And as you turn around, your visage kind of facing the vanity, you kind of see over your shoulder him, and you see just his hand just go little arcane traces, and you watch as some of the tear marks and the makeup that had kind of caked a bit just kind of fleck away, giving him much more clean face.
On me?
Yes.
On Winley? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She turns around. That's supposed to be my trick. So I guess you don't know that because you don't really know much about who I am now.
No. Nothing. But yes, that trick, again, lots of books.
My whole life I had just done what my parents told me, and I just wanted them to be safe, and I didn't know what to do.
No, I do understand that. Following in parents' footsteps. But shall I call you Lady Winley or Lena?
Well, I'm Winley now.
Well, Winley. The Lena I met was courageous, brave, caring, and I see the same in you. Despite many miles of travel and however many names, that still seems to be you.
Do you want to kill me?
No. No, 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 no. No.
Does your family?
If they knew you were still alive. Yes.
And your guards here?
They know nothing. I don't know if you remember Maya. She's the one who hung around a lot. Just always peering at our games.
Oh. Don't
Very,
think I saw a look from her.
very dutiful servant. And yes, also a little bit of Spitfire. Very capable. Yes, don't piss her off. Her threat on your mentor is real.
Noted.
Omar is a gentler soul, but don't get him angry or he will likely do worse than Maya.
And her eyes get wide and she just nods.
Sorry, I'm lacking conversational topics at the moment.
You know, tonight, do you remember all of your parents' parties we used to sneak in on and watch from the corner?
And had some very, very amazing food.
Yes.
Yes. Ah, That was a good time.
You were my first friend, you know. And I haven't actually had many since. But these people, they're my friends. And I don't want anything bad to happen to them.
I understand. And I can see that their devotion to you is strong. Especially the one with the shaggy hair.
Yeah.
He didn't take my invitation for the clothing. He decided to show up. I could only presume your guard. So
Not very good about listening to us or anyone else.
no. But I think that is a strong trait for a friend. Not so much a bodyguard.
It was good to see you again.
It was good to see you too.
I hope you get those adventures that we read about.
The night has been quite the adventure. And it is quite tiring.
Yes.
I don't mean to impose too much, but this place has a very delightful cheese plate. Would you be interested in sharing one?
How about something stronger instead? I had a lot of cheese earlier. It didn't help with all of this.
Understood. I'm sure there are other things they can make. I'm pretty sure they have their ears pressed against the door. Shall we let them in?
Yeah.
And he begins to walk over to the door and stops halfway and just kind of turns and says, "You are my first friend too." And then he goes over
And then wait, then she stops him before he opens the door and she kisses him.
Just as the hand is about to reach, you turn him around and just plant one on him. How long?
And then she's a good one.
A good one. Okay.
Yeah. And she says, "And I'm not gonna run away." And then she opens the door and she says, "You guys can come back in now."
Oh, that's mean.
DJ pretends she hasn't been listening at the door.
Maya was kind of like right with you, Darjan.
Yeah.
We're just like kind of
Like one below the other.
And I'm sitting back on one of the couches next to Omar, just exchanging the kind of tired, these kids look.
Yes,
He was
definitely. And he
saying-
found some of the liquor that was like in this room and just like poured you to a glass and just like
Yeah.
just sipping it. And so you two kind of just like, no, what?
Yeah, we were just chatting.
Yes, delightful people, Khalid. Very, very delightful people. How was the conversation?
And I'm looking at Winling, trying to gauge how she's doing.
And you can see her spirits are up, you know.
If you look over at Khalid, he's still like,
He just got blatted in the face by a rake.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry. Yes, Maya, the conversation went well. We were able to iron out our
Trousers.
Differences, perhaps.
differences. Yes. Not my trousers. No, they stayed on. They stayed on.
I'm looking at them both. And just smiling and smiling.
Why don't you two come sit down? There is ample liquor, and I imagine we can get someone to deliver food as late as it is.
Yeah, I'll get out the uke and we can play.
Maybe they have cake, but I'm only gonna have one bite.
Cake sounds like an excellent idea.
And when you say that, Khalid just kind of gives you like a bit of a knowing smile, as if things haven't changed. And uke is played, alcohol is delivered, as is cake and desserts. Eventually you see, or Omar has kind of relaxed into it. Maya very, very slowly, while still maintaining a very upright posture, will take a bit of cake or a dessert and just like pulls down her white veil. Notices it tastes good and then just like reassumes guard position. But the evening progresses. Is there anything in particular that wishes to be done?
Apologize to Omar. Seeing as how things are ironed out now, it's more explaining like, look, given what I understood about the situation.
And by this time he's had like a couple glasses, pulls you and is like, it is okay, little hot spit, and like nuggies you. You got a good clean hit.
Oh.
Yeah. Fighter culture. It be like that.
We cleared that up.
I will go ahead and cure wounds on Inqua because I don't want him drinking while he has open bleeding wounds. That's like a terrible idea. So I'll just like dump all 4 spell slots into healing him. I imagine that'll bring him up to full.
I'm just gonna say you probably only need 1.
Cool. I'll use whatever is necessary to get him all healed up and Gucci.
Cure wounds?
Cure wounds.
Roll the D8 just in case I go to shit.
That is the D8 base is a 5.
Oh, base is 5? Yeah, you topped them off.
Cool. Because the additive to that is 4, so that would be 9.
Cool.
If you want to throw one,
I was gonna say, did Tim get hit?
Come here, Tim.
Okay.
Take care of her party members
As
while
he's eating his cheesecake.
Yep.
Just like come up next to him.
Yes.
Come up next to him, just like poke him at one finger in the side of the neck. Poke. But yeah, I'm basically taking over as a team healer so that Winley can relax.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. If there was, there's I could give people temporary hit points, but I can't heal yet. I gotta get that,
Winley had some wine and chocolate cake, and so she's definitely now relaxed. And every now and then we'll whisper like in Achilles' ear, "Oh, remember when we did this?"
Really? Gnomes.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating adventures.
Oh, man.
She glosses over the were-rats and the shit episode.
oh, come on! You're not gonna tell them about that? Oh man,
She'll need more than wine to reveal that.
Does Darjan fill in the rest of the story?
She probably starts to say it, and Winley just darts.
Yes, it's honestly. Oh,
Do
yeah,
not
this was
let him
great.
know.
You should have seen us. We all went, and then she's all like, she goes, "Go sing." And so I start singing about, it's a nice day for a light sweater. It's a nice day for a cardigan. So anyway, I'm doing my thing. She pushed me away. Well,
Oh, Tim would have filled in like, "Oh, you forgot? I'll tell you."
and
And then Winley just goes like this.
And over the course of this, Isolde is kind of drifting towards the edges of what's turned into a nice little party, actually.
Mhm.
And just watching, sipping her drink and letting herself process the fact that she told Soliana off.
Mhm.
And just thinking about that and processing that and just, watching the kids, enjoying that Winley has come to terms with her past.
Maya kind of settles up.
yeah, Maya. I was going to say, I want to make friends with Maya too.
Oh, okay. Although at this point, when you peel off Assault, Maya kind of settles up. It's like, I am sorry for saying I would stick my blade down your throat and through your spine.
It's quite all right. I understand. We are protective of those who are ours.
Yes, I can see you take good care of Lady Winley.
I certainly try. She's a good one.
I can see that. Which point, Darjan, you kind of like pop on over.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on, man. Let's go get something to drink and hey, you want to learn how to play the uke?
I will not drink. I'm still on duty, but I will play the uke.
All right, let's go.
I look forward to hearing it. And still just like leaning up against the fireplace, sipping and just watching over everyone.
Maya takes on the uke and she's like, it's kind of like a small sitar.
Yeah.
And then begins to just like pluck away on it, like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
Oh yeah, no, I'm there. I'm watching. I'm gonna see if I can soak up some of that too.
And quite dirty 20, quite tactfully plays very well on the uke.
Nice.
But the evening ends, at which point Khalid is kind of like looking out over the curtains like, oh, I believe we have overstayed our welcome, friends. Thank you. Thank you all. This was a much better party than the one we just had.
The smaller, more intimate ones are far more interesting than massive ballrooms and sweeping desserts. Although those kebabs were lovely.
Yes. Family recipe. Yes, lots of, especially when you're hosting the thing, very much have to be everywhere at once.
And you have to be on duty the whole time.
Yes. So thank you for the night of relaxation.
Yeah, and I did like that stage though, so thanks for that. That was good.
I unfortunately, Lady Winley and I were leaving on your party girl.
Barty girl.
It definitely livened up that party. It felt more like at that moment.
I'm glad you heard a little bit of it.
Well, we shall be taking our leave. I have an early ship in the morning.
Well, it has been a pleasure to meet you, all of you, and I'll include Omar and Maya in that glance.
Mm-hmm. And they give their nods. Omar a little like a yeah, few drinks in.
He's a little ways in.
At which point Khalid just like taps him on the shoulder. Well, I will see you all hopefully soon. Just kind of directing that one at Winley. They begin to make their exits. Omar, then Maya, then Khalid, who stops at the doorway. It's like, Lady Winley, and just like kind of beckons you over. This isn't much, but one gift for another.
And he takes off his scarf
Oh,
and wraps it around your neck.
Well, it's not butterfly wings, but it's pretty good.
I'm certain you have many uses for it on your adventures.
And this time, because she's still in front of everybody, she'll just give him a hug.
May you all have safe travels, and again, hope to see you soon.
travel safely, and may the goddess watch over you.
Gives each of you a head nod and closes the door behind him.
Well, this night has been rather too much activity for my taste.
Just getting started.
Oh, no, it's time to turn in.
For those of us who need more than 4 hours of trancing, we should get some rest. Also, I neglected to mention to the rest of the group, but there was a fellow who said that he may have a lead on the dragon, and would. I'm trying to remember exactly what Jack said because it's been a week, and if I remember correctly, he sussed out that we were trying to go after the dragon and offered us a job basically, and we would meet him at a particular beach, right?
The Balmy Bay is what he said.
The Balmy Bay. Well then, and I will pass that along to the others and be like, I mean, and I'll look over at Inqua, if your sources are being a little bit less than forthcoming, perhaps this fellow Jack would be a better source if we are able to do something for him.
Oh yeah, I think that would be a good choice.
If we can avoid using that, it might be a good idea. James, you do that voice so well. It's actually mildly terrifying.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's well done, sir. But he said at noon, right? Do you remember that correctly?
Yes, just in case of some party time needs
Sure.
to wear off.
So, I mean, it may be another instance like the lighthouse where we go and we do something and get something in return. Maybe we'll actually get something in return this time. But this fellow Jack is a very roguish sort of fellow. But he knows good tobacco.
And we could use another job.
Potentially, yes. And if it's something that will lead us closer to finding Cryovane, I'm down for that. But what do the rest of you think?
Winley throws a scarf around her shoulder and says, "Another adventure for the Argent sword."
Go over and just like wrap an arm around her shoulders and pull her into a gentle hug. It's good to see you in high spirits again.
Get to punch Tim in the arm.
Tim, what do you
Hard. Just
Oh, no, I yeah, if it'll get us closer to Cryovane.
yeah.
How about you, Inqua?
I mean, you all are my family, so I'm here for the ride.
Winley gives him a thumbs up for the thumb of our hand.
Oh, that's adorable.
And eventually you all begin to find your way into sleep, not knowing how late into the night you actually have gone with this nice little party. But as the early sun rises, that's where we're going to take our break. Y'all do get a long rest. And we will check back and see where their next adventures begin. So, again, we're not doing a giveaway tonight. So we will just go straight into the break, and we will see you all in about 7 to 10. All right. Catch you then.
Can you believe it? Thomas is just such a wonderful guy. He can't hear us. Hey, what's up,
What?
everybody? Welcome back to Dragon of Icespire Peak. I have sufficiently shoved all of the Jollibee in my tummy. Sponsor us, please. I would love that. So
Got a Filipino on this stream, so like, come on.
Food. I am about as wide as they come, but that food sounds delicious.
Jollibee. Mango and peach pies. Ube pies. Whew. That's for breakfast. Anyway. So, y'all had after a tenuous start to the evening, a more relaxed one, partied a bit, more of a kickback, if you will. But as the sun begins to peer through the windows, Winley, some of the light just kind of catches your eyes and you begin to awake. And you sit up realizing he's probably off on his way.
Yeah, she's gonna quietly try to get dressed, make sure Izzy's out, and she grabs something real fast, and then she's gonna head to what I assume are the docks.
Mm-hmm.
I assume there's like one central place where the larger ships leave from.
Isolt, why don't you use the perception check at disadvantage, please?
I reckon I can do that.
And Laura, for Winley, a stealth check.
Well, one of them was a nat 20.
Hmm.
So I got 21. The other rolled pretty high.
Well, let's see, total, that would be a big ol' 4.
4. Not the most subtle, and Isolt, always the hardened warrior, just like eyes open as sound is emanating from your room.
Just like blink a couple of times. Going somewhere?
Oh, yeah, I'll be okay, Izzy. Just, Khalid's ship's leaving this morning.
I'll like roll over and grope at my trousers on the floor, pull out one of the sending stones and chuck it at her.
No, she catches. Wait, should I roll to see if she catches it?
Sure, roll a dex check.
I mean, I would lob it underhand. How bad? Can you roll that one?
It smacks you straight in the forehead, like you're ready to catch it, and you just like, and you try and grab.
And she runs to the mirror like, oh my god, is that gonna leave a mark?
It's got a like nice sizable red.
So she like pulls her bangs to the side.
If you need anything, I have the other one.
Thanks, Izzy.
And just like roll back over, pull the covers over my head.
Yeah. She's gonna sprint down to the docks.
You sprint down to the docks, and easily enough, having known where the fishery is, it is right next to that area where that place is ready to serve all sailors. And there you see, in not as regal white, but very fine vestiges, flanked by a very large guard and a short guard. Khalid kind of beginning to walk down the deck towards his ship, and you are up on the 40-foot high cliff looking down.
And so I'm up on the cliff, and she's like, okay, it's now or never. And she tries to remember what she saw Khalid do with the scarf. And
I'm assuming you attuned to it.
Yes. Oh my god, if this thing is cursed.
Hey, Winley.
No, yeah. She would have done that like that evening because it would have been like so special for her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you attune to it. I actually haven't written the stats for this thing yet. But it gives you flying speed, and it's not like immediately like boom and you flop off. So
she's gonna yell from the cliff, Khalid, and then try. She's gonna think butterfly, butterfly.
And they flare out, and you lift off and begin to coast over towards him. And he does hear that Khalid as he looks up and is like taken aback as you begin to coast over.
And she's enjoying it, like, oh, this is so beautiful. But as she gets closer to the ground, she's like, I don't know how to land. And she actually says that.
Think like you're about to land. Think you're
Okay. And she's trying to think of any, like, have I seen a bird? What is a bird? I can't even remember what a bird looks like.
And as your mind frazzles, he like begins to like rush about on the deck and positions himself to catch you. And like he absorbs your momentum while also not falling over. Just like,
oh, it would have been cute if they fell over though.
He trips. Oh,
no. It's good that you caught her. She already got banged in the head by a sending stone. So,
and like you are, he's a good 5 inches or so taller than you, so you're kind of like pressed into his chest at the moment, and he like pulls you away. It's like, your head is new.
Oh, yeah, just trying something new. She makes sure nice. That her forehead is covered. I just wanted to see you before you set sail.
Oh, I appreciate you. I mean, we went pretty late into the night, so I was just you woke up early for me. I appreciate that.
And she rifles around in her pockets, and she pulls something out. Here, and in her palm you see a little origami unicorn.
Oh. And he takes it very gingerly out of your hands and like appraises it. These are very, very fine folds.
Yeah, just a new hobby of mine.
Did you make this last night?
Yeah, I couldn't get to sleep right away.
And he like kind of palms it in his hand very gingerly, and he looks to you. May I?
She just nods.
And he goes in, but then he like kind of brushes the hair to the side and just kisses you on the forehead. Yes. May I try again? I missed.
And she really does just laugh. She just starts giggling. And she says, sure. And she throws up the scarf to keep a little privacy from Omar and Maya.
Yeah, and with you being attuned to it, it kind of like folds up like a wing and just kind of splays out a bit as you two kiss. And a little more collected this time, he pulls away. Well, I again wish you very safe travels on your adventures, and I hope you return and tell me more.
I hope we can too. And she looks at him with a tiny bit of sadness in her eyes, because I think she's not convinced that she will not necessarily ever get to see him again.
Mm-hmm. At which point you hear the I should learn boat terminology, folks. You hear the first mate, let's say first mate,
yell out, "All right, let's begin raising the anchor." Why does he have an accent? He's not Omnian. Or is he? Well, he's Omnian now. All right, raise anchor. Khalid, we will be taking off. He looks up with a sadness, looks back to you. You're more than welcome to stay.
Stay. We have a job to do and people to protect.
Again, those qualities do not leave you, even if your name changes.
I'm hoping this one sticks.
Would you like at least to ride out a bit? With that, and he points to the scarf, you can head back.
I might need to practice a little bit.
That is understood. May I walk you to the deck? Or the, it is the deck, right? No.
How about I walk you to the ship.
Down the gangplank to the dock.
Thank you. Shall I walk you to the dock?
Oh, because he's already on the ship. Yes.
He walks with you. You walk beside him. Omar Maya, not too far behind.
Winley looks back.
Omar gives a hearty wave, and even covered, you can see a bit of a raised eyebrow from Maya. Well, I hope to see you soon.
I really hope that too.
One more for the road.
I don't know. And then she just kisses him. She kind of psychs him out a little bit.
Oh, and again, you psych him out. And he's like, I'm going back up. And begins to just like, arms to his side, just like kind of like up the gangplank.
Yeah. And she'll wait there to see and kind of do the waving thing.
Yeah, does the waving thing as the sails unfurl, and no, they don't unfurl. Not until they get out. I know that much. Ha ha! But they are able to coast out, and you watch as they make it past the barrier that originally was used to hold off the sea spawn, as it has been lowered, and it goes out. And after, I don't know how long you watch for, but catching some of the rays from the east, the sails unfurl. And you watch as it begins to coast further along out into the water before heading southwards.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll stay there a long while. Just
Mhm.
kind of see it till it's a teeny tiny speck.
Yep. Meanwhile, the other four, definitely at this point you have awoken, having your rest.
Yeah, I would get up maybe like 15 minutes or so after Winley took off.
Mhm.
You know, get dressed, put my armor on, get ready for the day. And then put in an order for breakfast
Mm-hmm.
to be delivered for the group, because I think Winley will be starving when she gets back.
Oh, for the group. Okay, I was thinking we would have to go downstairs, but
No, I'll invite everyone back to our little sitting room area and provide breakfast for everyone.
Mm-hmm. That will be a two gold and 5 silver.
Done. But yeah, I had also talked with Tim about going and getting armor. So I would want to meet up with him after eating and be like, let's dip down there quickly and deal with armor and come back.
Easily enough, you find a blacksmith to arrange for your not made to order, but like off the rack, if you will. Splint?
Splint, yes.
Yes. How much is that, boy?
200. I looked it up.
200. Cool. And then I'm assuming you're selling your chain?
Yes. I'm
how
selling
much-
my chain, and Tim is being kind enough to loan me money.
Ah, lovely. How much is the chain usually?
The chain is 70, and so you can sell it for half of what it's worth.
Yeah. So they offer you 35. So basically 165 for the splint mail, of which you two are able to cover.
Yes. Between us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much appreciated, Tim. Thank you.
Well,
You all
risking your life to do this, so
Which boosts my AC up to 20, which has the DM just glowering at me.
more spells, more spells. Dexterity saving throws all the oh wait, no, you have your shield master.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kiss, kiss.
Intelligence saving throws, more rat kings.
oh,
But yeah, I'll go and I will obtain the splint and sell them the chain and put the splint on, checking its fit. So it doesn't fit perfectly because it's not made for me, but I am an averagely sized human, and so
Yes.
it fits me reasonably well.
Yeah, and the make of it is good. Just ends right above the what am I thinking? Mid thigh.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now you're going to need to get a tabard too.
Probably.
No guy.
Do we need any special arrows or anything for dragons? Because that's something you guys could look for,
I
because we
mean,
have crossbows.
There is such a thing as a dragon slaying arrow. I just don't know if this little town would
Yeah, no.
have it.
No, I was trying to think of other, if we needed bigger ones or stronger, faster, better.
A bit poorer than we were before, so
True.
But you all begin to once again reconvene at the sunset horizon. Yes. What would you all like to do?
I think we need to go talk to our friend about a job, right? I think that's the next thing.
Winley is gonna return kind of starry-eyed and just like slouch in one of the table chairs at the in the restaurant and try to like get a coffee or something and just enjoy her morning coffee.
Would I see her on my way back through?
Yeah, I would say on the way back through, after you two went to go grab the splint, you just kind of see Winley, scarf draped over her shoulders, sipping this tiny little coffee.
There's breakfast for you in the sitting room if you'd like it. Winley, we made sure to leave some for you.
Oh, I guess I could have a bite or two. And she'll like dreamily go back up to the room with her coffee.
If music be the food of love, play on.
Yes, you go up and you find some nice fresh fruit. Not like hardtack or anything but a nice artisan kind of bread with some schmears on the side.
Smear.
Yeah, some schmear. But yeah, it's dainty but filling.
So yeah, eat our fill, make sure that we've wiped out all of the food, and then let's go see a man about a dragon.
As we're getting ready to do that, you see Winley look in the mirror and look at her forehead and just start giggling. And you're wondering why she's giggling at the bruise on her forehead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw it that hard. I was only about a fourth awake.
Well, of course, that's not why she's giggling, but you don't know that.
Nope. Oh no, I will ask for the sending stone back just to make sure that I know where it is.
Yeah, I'll give it back to her.
Mm-hmm.
Love Winley. Don't trust her to remember where things go.
That's fair.
But yeah, head down to the Balmy Bay, wherever in the frick
Okay.
that is.
And as we walk there, Winley is going to, like, anytime she sees a bird, she's going to study it intently.
Doing birds instead of butterflies, huh?
Well, I don't assume I'm going to see many butterflies in the middle of the city.
So one thing I totally forgot. Domingo Tora, 500 bits to the players for that character drama.
All of the drama.
That drama going.
The drama go? Is that what you just said?
Drama llama.
Drama llama. So yes, you make your way out and you're like, where the fuck is the Balmy Bay? And you go out and drama llama. Oh no, he liked alpacas. So I'm thinking about Jimmy Neutron. Excuse me. You ask around about the Balmy Bay and quickly learn it's not actually a bay, but it is the Balmy Bay bookstore.
Okay.
At which point you follow one person's instruction who is quite helpful. They lead you over. And there you see a sign that's made of stained glass that just kind of like hangs off perpendicular to the doorway. Like just has like a nice dune sand with a palm tree on it and what looks to be what could amount to a lounge chair and someone with an open book, and underneath it in nice what is it? It's been forever since I've done
Calligraphy kind of thing.
Calligraphy, let's say calligraphy, carved calligraphy. It says the Balmy Bay, and it's kind of got more of a relaxed font to it. You open the door and you hear like ding, 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 ding. At which point you see a familiar face kind of pop up, and it's like, hello and welcome to the Balmy Bay bookstore. And standing before you is Hannibin.
She got a job.
Nice.
Hey, Hannibin, it's been a while.
Yes, it's been a while. You all kind of left, and well, I mean, no. Again, you said you would only pay for us for one night, but you know, I need to get a job, and I started looking here, and Winley, she said that there was a really nice bookstore that she really wanted to check out here. At which point you can see over on the side over there, Winnie looking over one of the books, being like, "Oh, hey, everybody! Oh my gosh, what a coincidence!"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we looked around for Hanneman to get a job. We didn't want something like, like fish packing that would smell weird, or like hard labor in the field. So we were like, how about a bookstore? And then they're like, do you know how to like work with books? And she's like, I mean, like I've worked in a storeroom and stuff, and now she works here.
Yeah, seems like a good fit.
Yeah, no, it's getting used to, when you're not in a cult and you actually have to work.
But a bookstore surrounded by all of this knowledge. This seems like a good place to be.
Yeah, I get it. I get to learn a lot. And every now and then just like peruse some of the books, and when I mean, it's a bookstore, not a lot of people read. But yeah, cool stuff. What are you all doing here?
We're looking for a fellow named Jack.
And who's been keeping an eye out on the sun?
Out on the what?
On the sun, to gather what time it is.
Probably me.
Okay. It's probably about 1 o'clock.
Shit. Are we really that late? I didn't think we'd taken that long.
No, excuse me. No, y'all would have gotten there early. Yeah. It would have been around like 11:30 then.
Okay.
That makes sense.
No, Jack.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, we'll just peruse a bit.
For sure. As you peruse, any interest anybody looking for?
Music books.
Music books. Okay. Anything else?
Winley's gonna look for like the old like adventure books that she used to read with Khalid.
Okay.
Probably if they have anything on Arcana.
Arcana. Any particular?
No, I just don't remember a lot of what my parents initially taught me. So
So the use of spells. Okay. So, Darjan, make an investigation check.
Ooh. Let's see. Ooh. 21.
21. You peruse a bit, and it's not like a Barnes and Nobles, if you will, but it is a sizable bookstore, which more deep than it is wide, and so you kind of just have to walk, and eventually you find yourself in the back room, which is actually a second story with like books along the walls, and you find the music section, and as you are kind of like looking through it, you find one peculiar piece where it just seems to be someone like wedged a folder almost in there, and you open it and it's music. It is in classical musical notation, but do you read Infernal?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do you read Infernal?
I don't have that, I don't believe.
It is in a language you are, the lyrics wise, is unfamiliar with.
The tunes look good, right?
Yes, the tunes have a very deep, there's a minor key and they tend to be on the lower notes.
Ooh. Might be interesting to learn. Maybe I can find somebody who can translate.
Yeah. So, Winley, investigation check.
Let's see. Ooh, 10.
10. So Hanneman directs you to the adventure section, and particularly children's book, and there you find the book that you and Khalid used to read about how there was a pirate named Darlin Red Silver.
Oh.
Darlin Red Silver, and how he would always have a very large cap with a singular red feather with a silver trim around, and how in this book in particular went to the island of Cholt, and how he would run with the dinosaurs and tame them as he perused the island looking for lost treasure.
Yeah, she's gonna buy a copy of this just for memory's sake.
Yes, that will be 2 gold.
Got it.
Tim, investigation check.
Can I ask for help from Hannibin as to where books are? I rolled a 7.
7, she can help you out. Sure, roll with advantage.
Rolled a 6. Keep the 7.
So Hannibin's like, well, can help out a bit. Nothing on like necessarily magical books. That's not what we really have here. But maybe we can check out like the history section.
Okay.
Leads you over there, and nothing much other than you might find like an apprentice tome where it's like very, very basic, where it's like, to do prestidigitation, flick your wrist like this while saying the following incantation.
I wasn't looking for like an actual like spell book. It was more just like the theory behind magic and stuff like that. Like,
Ah,
so you don't have to worry about like I'm looking for anything along the lines of like spells or anything.
okay.
This is
Well-
more just like, God, I can't remember like some of the basics that my
Mhm.
I wasn't paying attention because I was a kid and I didn't want to learn it.
So you continue to flip through this book, and it's very, very basic. It's like, the weave is in which where we all draw magic from, and in which all life comes from. Sometimes when you try and pull on the weave or shape it in a different way, you create magic. And it's like, has a little illustrated halfling who's like, rainbow.
I'm imagining like the Mr. DNA from Jurassic Park.
Basically.
So I found the children's section for magic. Is it okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you know what? That's about my level in all
Yeah.
fairness. So, okay.
It holds true in that sense.
And I think Winley notices Tim was like trying to desperately find something. So she jokingly says, here, you didn't enjoy this one. And it's like a romance novel.
It's a romance novel. It's
It had
called-
better not be the tall halfling. I will be annoyed.
Damn.
That was exactly where you were going, wasn't it?
You look at the cover
Go
and
ahead,
you
it's
see
fine.
a tall, elven, elegant woman staring down, but not too far down, maybe about chest height. What appears to be a halfling, slightly curved, pointed ear, and in beautiful scrawling on the front, it says, "The tall halfling."
It's not what I was looking for.
And she
Written
just
by Vanna
snickers.
Lothwin.
Winley just snickers.
It's a pretty weighty tome.
What, the tall halfling?
Yeah.
We're still like, yeah, he's okay. He's gonna put it back when it's like, okay.
Not that way. It's only like 60,000 words.
The font is huge though.
There's pictures. There's pictures in strategic
Oh.
spots.
Yes, but as you peruse, the hours kind of suck away a bit. Isolt, is there anything you're looking in for particular?
Not in particular, just sort of browsing around, trying to find out a little bit more about Leylon, about the history of the area, maybe a little bit about Candlekeep, because I've been to Candlekeep a couple of times, but never I was too young to be really interested in why Candlekeep, just stars in the eyes and all that bullshit.
Investigation check.
All right. Yeah. That is an 11.
11. You definitely for on the Leylon side, used to be a fishing / agrarian-esque town. Nothing very spectacular about it. And I guess more the recent writing would probably come more in like news form about what you find to be I guess trade deals in which that positioned Leylon to have its economic boom that it is having currently between Waterdeep and Neverwinter, seeing it being that central point between the two. It is close to the close to Salt Marsh, and which you kind of get like a basic understanding of that, where there's like lizard folk and occasionally like haunted-esque stories, and apparently a haunted mansion that is doing very, very well.
Did they say anything about the crack cookies? That's all I want to know.
Yes, the crack cookies about 25 miles south are to die for.
Good old
so,
Bagrat and her cookies.
So yeah, on that front, Candlekeep, again, it's more of a general thing. What you do notice is that what appears to be what essentially is like the new book section, a very familiar name on the cover of a published tome of it seems to be research onto the spell plague, written by Soliano Winrick.
I'll pick it up between thumb and forefinger, not really wanting to touch it, but also knowing that Tim has was connected to the spell plague, and just like flip it over and read the back and see if this looks like something he might be interested in.
Basically, what you get from it is a very dense dissertation about how its origins happened and its effects on particularly the continent of Faerun and particularly the Sword Coast, and very particularly underground dwellings.
Okay. As much as I try. I'll like lean and look for Tim.
You kind of see him huddled by what seems to be the child section, looking over a small theory book.
Hey, Tim. There's a dissertation about the spell plague. If you want to know a little, you're muted, dear.
Oh, his face sours instantly upon hearing that. He just...
Your family wasn't the only one affected by the spell plague.
Oh, a lot of people were. I know.
Maybe this will help tell you why. It's up to you.
No, thank you.
All right. And just very carefully put it back. Brush my hands off on my trousers. As if somehow Soliana might infect me from this distance.
And I think this whole time, while Tim was trying to read his children's book, Winley had been reading The Tall Halfling to him. But as soon as she saw that like Isolt was like, talk about something serious, she definitely quieted down.
And I'll actually look. I'll hold it for a second longer, looking at it, and just like, yeah, she was always into the dense words, even if she didn't always completely understand them.
And time passes quite a bit as you all do your research. And if anyone had a keen mind here or a pocket watch, around 1 o'clock, bling, 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 just kind of striding in and has a very peculiar set of objects across his eyes. And he's just like, I see you all found your way here.
You were up quite late, weren't you?
Yes.
What are those things on your eyes?
They block out the sun. It's quite a nifty invention.
Like the darkness cow. How can you see anything? We were in darkness like that before and I couldn't see anything.
No, more like a shade, darling. More like a shade. As if you were underneath a tree, but just with your eyes.
Oh.
I am very hungover right now, and it's very bright.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to make your way here.
I may have lost it a couple times, but I know when business is business, and I am here to do so.
All right. Well then, do we want to step out somewhere else?
Oh no, there's a back room for readers, but I use it as a nice meeting place, very quiet, and comes into a bookstore at, noon.
Winley will throw a look to Hannibin like, oh, great, you got to deal with this guy, huh?
Hannibin's like, oh, yes, the owner was telling me you're Jack. Okay, yeah, the back room's open.
Thank you, Hannibin.
Thank you, Hannibin. Excellent.
Right, shall we? And Hannibin, if you have any water.
Yes, I can go get some real quick.
I think our hungover boy should drink some water.
Right, you are. Thank you for taking care of me. And he kind of like Jack Sparrow walks to the back.
Oh,
It's like
gonna be
always like that wibbly wobbly, but never actually knocking anything over.
it's gonna be a long day. All right.
So you head to the back, which you see a nice little table with a that can seat about 3 on the long side, so that's 6, and then 2 on each side, so 10 chairs in total. And it's got like a nice little window out on the back end, which is towards the east, which right now has some sunlight coming in, even though the sun is straight up above. Jack kind of Jack just kind of saddles up and saunters to the chair right by the window and pulls it out and flops in it, and immediately the 2 feet go. Takes off the glasses, sets it on, and his eyes are very glazed.
Red.
I recognize this look, yes.
You all pour in, at which point Hannibin also comes in with a pitcher of water and some wooden cups. And she closes the door behind. So, friends, welcome. Do take a seat. Do take a seat.
And Isolde will sit at the head of the table and just like brace her elbows on it and fold her hands under her chin.
Do any of you else wish to sit, or shall we make this more of a how should I say this? A bit more of a I don't know, formal affair?
I'm sitting.
Like with dancing?
Sitting down.
I'm
I
sitting.
like her humor. I like her humor.
In the corner, Winley sees a small or a large poofy pillow, and she's really confused what it is, and she flops. It's a beanbag.
Yeah, and you see a couple
I
other
can't
ones.
move.
Yeah, and this one just like sinks deep. You're like, where'd it go?
Oh, it's comfortable, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out of it.
We'll give you a hand out of there. Be comfortable.
There we go. There we go. See, everybody's getting a bit more comfortable. So, Argent Sword, your name has been spreading around these parts. I am sure you know.
Tell us.
Ooh.
I actually am not aware of our word fame.
Well, it is spreading like the spell plague. Sorry, that's a little too soon.
Glance over at Tim.
Mm.
It's been a century, loves. We can be a bit more open about it, can't we? But yes, takes a sip of the water. That is good water. So, what I am proposing, you help
Fine.
me go on a bit of an expedition up into these Sword Mountains. You help keep me safe, and whatever you find in the place, yours to keep, and I'm sure it will be very, very helpful for your dragon.
Yes, the dragon is what we are, I think, most concerned about. Though I'll glance over at DJ and Tim at the mention of treasure.
Mm. Well, how are you able to give us whatever's there?
Well, no, I am in it for the research, the discovery. I am a bit of a financier of adventures, and I enjoy a bit of the credibility that comes from having some of my folks find particular things.
How is this going to get us closer to the dragon?
Well, I don't believe I said closer to the dragon. I said it would help with the dragon problem. Though I'm sure it's a dragon and it's been attacking these parts, and it would love to chill out in the mountains. So you might find it up there. But
And
what I
we may find more
offer,
information up there.
yes, and what I offer is an expedition completely financed by me. Your lodging, well, there really isn't much of lodging on the way there, but your food, your travel until we get to the mountains will be covered. I have an excellent researcher who will be joining us to make sure we know exactly where we are, an excellent tracker who will help us through the mountains, all of that. And I just need, I guess, the bodyguard portion of it.
Winley flexes her arm.
See, right there, that love, right there is exactly the gumption I'm looking for.
And she's sunk so far in the beanbag, that's probably all you can see, actually. Right now.
I have never been rented out as a bodyguard before.
It's
Oh,
incredibly demeaning.
Oh, trust me,
It's not that bad.
traveling with Jack, it will be an experience. I am. You can ask any of the folks here whom I have hired, and they know I take good care of my people.
And the people you are hiring to come with us, or you're also vouching for them?
Yes. One of them quite intelligent, fresh off from Candlekeep. The other one is just what is it? He's been working out in the woods for quite a while, and we'll make sure our path up there is perfect.
Sorry, who are you hiring from Candlekeep?
Oh, one of the apparently one of her brightest. You can see her book out in the front, which will be very helpful for us. She's already been researching Irithimble as we speak. So, I mean, her name is Ileana Winrick. I'm sure you haven't heard of her. She's been quite cloistered up in there.
I'm unfortunately very familiar.
Oh, hell, you know how much of a delight she can be.
And from at this point, all you see is the beanbag. You hear, "Oh snap!"
We've all heard the name. We've all heard the name. We've all heard the name.
You've heard the first name, so
Yes.
Liana.
Yes.
So, at which point you hear at the door, "Come in." And standing before you is the cleric, Osrogel from the Shrine of Timora. And he's like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I thought you all would have been, this is the, well, you already found Jack, and this is quite excellent, actually, because this was what I was going to recommend you all for. And look, as Jack does, finds what he needs. I found Soliana out in the back, just kind of peering through the window, so I thought I'd bring him around." At which point, Soliana, no longer in the pink tulip dress, but what seems to be much more adventuring clothes, and has large bottle coke spectacles just kind of placed on here, hair tied back, and a headband across her dreads, as she looks in and sees Isolt.
Arms crossed across her chest, sitting back in her chair, just glowering at the door.
Well, I am hungover, but I sense history, which is always exciting.
Maybe for you.
So what do you say? Anything you find will be yours. I'll pay you. How does 500 gold each sound? Is that respectable?
I can see Tim just quivering with greed over there.
I'm trying to be like totally like, yes, I'm thinking about that.
Winley says 600.
600. How about this? 300 now, and on my safe return, another 300.
And you're going to be paying for all of the tents and all the everything and the food.
Oh, please, yes. Remember, it's an adventure with Jack. It's an expedition. It's not fucking Icewind Dale, okay? You're going to be taken care of.
Well, I vote yes.
Isolde is still just glowering at Soliana, but reluctantly nods a little bit.
Excellent.
We see Widley's arm.
Winley, no, you hear like rustling, and she's like, and she finally frees herself, and she says, "But we need matching outfits."
Matching outfits. He like kind of puts the legs off to the side, walks over to you, leans down as you have like crawled out of your beanbag prison. You have gumption and ideas. God, where did you find this woman? And she grabs you by the face, like kisses you on the forehead. Yes, these are the bright ideas I need. Matching outfits. Yes, it will all be covered, and we will make it happen.
And I want a red feather.
You will have a whole turkey full of red feathers. Oh, beautiful ideas. God, I am pulsating in my forehead right now. But, Osrigo, you know these folks. I know these folks. Draft a contract. I'm going to go vomit off into the alleyway. And he just kind of saunters out of the room once more.
Well, I like him.
He's your speed, Tim.
Goodness. And I'm standing at this point because I don't want to be shorter than Soliana, but look over at the fellow who's going to be drawing up contracts for us. So, when do we leave?
Well, probably when he's ready to go. Probably, I mean, if the matching outfit things are actually going to happen in the next day or so. How does that sound?
That should be excellent. Still just watching Soliana. Like you'd watch a snake that has just peeked out of the grass.
And she just has her arms folded, realizing the awkward nature of the situation.
Since I've worked with people of different backgrounds and ways that they do things and legal kinds of things, yeah, I'd be very interested in seeing what this contract is.
And as Osriel begins to draft it up, make a I guess investigation check, see if there's any funky wording.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good one. There it is. 15.
15. So as you watch as Osriel begins to draft this up, basically the contract is this. You all are hired as bodyguards. You are to keep Jack safe. You are to head to the city, gnome city of Irithimble. Investigate and acquire any interesting objects. Anything that Jack does not find interesting to himself, you all will be able to keep. And in this contract, it doesn't mention Soliana or the tracker he mentioned, since this seems to be a contract just between you, Five, and Jack.
And
payment-
Winley's like over the shoulder saying, and he pays for the rest of our accommodations for the rest of the time we're here.
Roll a persuasion check.
Can we argue for advantage because he did?
No, I did not need advantage. That would be a 22.
Okay.
I am.
Osriel was like, well, that does sound like Jack.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then matching
And,
uniforms.
Right,
matching
and the
it with
three
red,
and-
red feather, red feather.
Red Feather. Yes,
Mhm.
to what is your name?
I'm Winley Glorybow.
Winley Glory Bow. And 300 to be paid now, and then 300 to be paid on Jack's safe delivery, as he likes to say, to his front doorstep.
Wait, where is his front doorstep?
You may have you have been staying at the Sunset Horizon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Just making sure it wasn't some faraway town.
No,
I know
oh well,
these sneaky sneakies.
he does actually not. He has multiple living places elsewhere.
Okay, so maybe we put Sunset Horizon.
Good choice. Parentheses, Sunset Horizon.
Excellent.
Well, and then he draws the line. Darjon, while you're watching, no sneaky business, as it was drafted up, begins like making a singular line across with a date. Is this for a particular group, or shall I
Yeah.
have you each?
The
Argent
Argent
sword.
If you could sign here, please.
and we'll do so.
Mm-hmm. You sign there. There was a second line made underneath that will likely be signed by Jack when he returns, which he does after a good 20 minutes of retching, possibly. Who knows?
Probably lost a week's worth of rations at that point.
And in case anyone was wondering, Winley does dot the I in her name with a heart.
Of course she
Mm.
does.
Indeed. So you watch as Jack stumbles in once more, looks over the contract, looks over at Wendy. You're smart. Get that feather. Signs it in, dates it. At which point, Osrogel does a bit of some hand signs over it, and just like you watch as a magical shimmer just kind of goes over the contract. Well, contract has been made.
We are bound by the oaths that we make. We are cursed by the oaths that we break.
A proper paladin here. Yes. Yes. Woman of honor, woman of ideas. This whole group like grabs Inqua and then Tim, squeezes them in. This is going to be the best adventure ever. Pulls you off to the side. We leave at dawn. Noon. We leave at noon tomorrow. And then leaves out the door.
Well then, we will continue to be at the Sunset Horizon until noon tomorrow.
So Liana kind of like presses herself off the wall, walks over to you, just sticks a hand out. Look forward to working with you.
And I appraise her for a moment. I'm trying to decide if she's pissed off at me for everything that I said last night.
Insight check.
Yeah, fair. Where's my insight? Okay. 19.
19. She's wary of you.
Fair. I'm wary of her. So I will nod a little bit, extend my hand and shake it, perhaps squeezing a little bit tighter than I should.
You squeeze a bit tighter, and she tries to match, but is unable to.
Nah.
Like you feel it, like the fingers crumble in a little bit.
I mean, I don't do strong enough to like break her hand, although I certainly could. Just strong enough to be like, I could if I wanted to, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, you definitely do like her fingers just kind of like collapse in on themselves, and she just like purses her lips. Doesn't like immediately pull back, but just like lets the hand drop. Well, I will see you all tomorrow.
Until tomorrow.
Would recommend reading my book, not as any. It might help, and then walks out.
And Isilda sort of lets her head drop. God damn it. So for those who weren't privy to the conversation yesterday, that's my ex.
Oh, I remember.
Oh.
Oh, Equa. I forgot you were here.
We did not part well 20 years ago, and we certainly did not part well last night.
Oh, I missed that part.
Might have told her off. It was very cathartic. I didn't think I'd have to see her again. Oh, well.
Well, it's not like we're going to be in the same tent or anything, so.
Oh, I forgot to negotiate separate tents.
I'll sleep under a tree before I sleep in the same tent as her. So, right. It's afternoon. I'm going to go get drunk. I'll see you all back at the rooms.
Oh, yeah, see you. And Tim is out the door.
But I will stop on the way through and pick up a copy of Soliana's book because she's kind of a bitch, but she doesn't give warnings like that if she doesn't think they're valid. And I know that she's more intelligent than I am. So I will stop and pick up a copy of her book before going and getting
3 gold.
All right. And we did get the 300 from them?
Not paid out yet, but it will be paid.
How dare.
Do you need me to get it? She could have at least given you a free book. Ugh.
Yeah, fuck her. I'll go ahead and buy a copy. And so I'll get a copy of her book and take it back with me and peruse it while I am drinking.
You do that. Tim heads out. Winley, Darjan, anything in particular?
Well, Winley is going to try to catch up with Jack or whomever she thinks is whoever she thinks is going to be in charge of getting our matching outfits so that she can give some guidance on that.
All right. You go out and you see Jack just kind of like stumbling through the merchant place. Darjan, is there any place in particular you'd like to go?
In particular. Are you going to go read, Tim, or are you taking off?
Oh, Tim's going out the back door into the alley.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was going to do is I was going to go with Tim. We know how to get ready for a mission of this nature. And there are some things that we would like to get ourselves.
Okay. And I will ask Inqua what he'd like to do when we return next week. Yes, that's where we're going to end it, folks. The Argent Sword once again splitting off to do a bit of a shopping/relaxing episode before, I don't want to say the final arc, but at least I know the second to final arc of Dragon of Icespire Peak.
Oh my goodness, we're getting close. As long as the arc isn't as long as the fucking rats arc.
I was gonna say.
So yeah, our friends here are gonna head off to Irithimble
and see what that's like, because I like gnomes and we're gonna have a fucking gnome campaign.
Spoilers.
Yeah, y'all do know that Thimble is a gnome city based on what Jack just told you. But we shall find out what you find there maybe in a couple of weeks. For next week is a good old shopping / meandering episode. But until then, thank you all for donating the bits. There's Tamago Tora, there was Duke Flea.
Wait, before we end, we need to use our cards.
Oh shit!
Critical strike this barrel!
We will have 6 that will go into the boy.
Yes, and I have 2 over here. But we shall see what happens. Thank you, Tamago Tora, Duke Fleeg, Baroness Hefner. I think those were our donation folks. With the bets. I think that is it. I'm trying to scroll up to the top. There we go.
Baroness Hefner.
Yes, Tamago Tora.
Duke
Duke Fleeg.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Cool. Thank you all so much for donating. Thank you always to our patrons who again help us keep the lights on. And
I'm really sorry we didn't use the cards. We just don't fight very much.
We fight enough.
Here's what I'll say. Winley catches up. Sneak peek. Winley catches up with Jack. She sees he's about to go into a store with like really tacky clothes, and she emergency seals that so he can't enter. And she guides him next door.
Redirects him to better clothing.
Yes.
Just like dong. Understood. We don't go for tacky then. Walks off this way. But yes, we shall see what they're all about, what Soliana is about, what Jack's about, who the tracker is, all of that and more when we return. Also remember that with coming up this week, we have good old Frost Maiden beginning at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're moving that along moving that back 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes. And after that, Down Darker Trails will be at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we will be back here Monday for Dragon of Icespire Peak. But until then, see you then. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye.